What's going on today, guys? Primal Sabbath here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Mastermind Creations R-38 knee and Foxwire, but I'm going to call them by their regular names, which is Nickel and the Pet, or, spoiler alert, for those who haven't read More Than Meets the Eye 40-something, 50-something, it's Dominus Ambus, so that's Ultra Magnus's brother. So, pretty cool. This is kind of their first foray into a transforming beast. I wouldn't really count their Ravage, as one of those because he kind of turns into a tape. But anyways, I got mine from Planet Steel Express. So this is the Planet Steel Express exclusive. It is this sniper rifle, but instead of the red paint apps, it's got blue paint apps on it. And I really don't know why. And before I fully commit to selling this thing off, I'm going to hope that someone comments on this and tells me that the blue is for something significant enough that I care about. But it's probably, I mean, if it's kind of minor, it's just going to go up on eBay. As you can see, this extends for it, and it does have an interchangeable handle. You can see I've already taken the original piece out. It's just kind of come back here, and you got to kind of fold it forward towards, I guess, what this would be like the ammo clip. I don't know. And then you kind of like fold and pull, and that's how you get it out. So the alternative handle is to fit Nickel's hands, and this actually kind of brings me to a point where I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm going to sell the other one or not, because if I can get this to fit into his hands, then I haven't tested it out yet, for whatever that's worth. But he does have some small hands. He does, like, no real grabby holding on to bits, and that comes in a package. See, I've already torn it open, of an alternate head for Foxwire, which shows his little I guess whiskers. I don't know what these would be. I guess this would have been after he was kind of domesticated and turned into the pet. You got a little Beast Wars homage here, I think. He's got these green eyes, and again, he's got some battle damage here, and he's missing this this part of his ear. I don't know if that can come out easy enough to replace it with a full ear. Honestly, I don't know if any of this would come apart easily at all. It's probably all glued together, but you see, even these little bitty bottom teeth here are painted silver, as are the top ones, and I like that. That's a nice little attention to detail, and of course, this piece around the eye is painted silver, but you got your green eyes and your red eyes variant there, but for the meantime, I'm going to keep this this head on him. So there is that. You also get, that I have wrapped around him, the chain. Again, it would probably do better if he had this head on, but whatever. In which, if you want to, let's get K-On in here, or whatever he was called. See if we can squeeze this into his hand. All right, we could. That's good. Let's get all this other dumb junk off of him. So if you want K-On kind of getting him ready, holding him back, you know what I mean? Something, whatever. You can bring this chain through here, and there we go. Back this up a little bit, rotate it up, so you can at least, and like that, this is probably how I'm going to display it. I would have liked to have bought a second set of these, because I'm kind of torn on where I want to put Nickel. I don't know if I want to put her with my DJD, or if I want to put her with my Scavengers. So it's one of those things, like, maybe I will end up picking up another set. So I do kind of have those options. But anyways, that's pretty much it for that. What I will say for this piece, and you saw how I had it kind of like wrapped up around him or whatever. So it's pegged on down here, and I mean, I guess that makes sense that it wouldn't be back here, but I don't know, I kind of wished it would have pegged onto the back right there. But to get it out, this piece will come off with it, so you have to kind of bring that out, because this has to stay on him. It doesn't really have to necessarily, but it's where come on now, plug in. You can see that right there on his bottom chin. Even this one has it. That's where it locks onto his chest for robot mode. So there is that. But you do get it. I do like it, and I am going to use it. You also get all of Nickel's accessories. You get her extra faces. You get her her oh no face. You get her I'm in trouble face, and you get her super happy face. And she also comes with a smiling face. Then you get all of her little tools in here. You get another set of wings. This is for flight mode, which I'm not gonna show off. And so she's got like flight mode. Hang on, let's look at the back. She has, yeah, it's like undersea mode, flight mode, and like land mode. So the land mode doesn't really have, and like you can take this little piece off right here and replace it with these two little red fins if you want to. I mean, it's kind of, if you want to do that, again, I'm just not going to go through it for this. I don't think it's really necessary. She comes packaged, I guess, in a combination of land mode and sea mode, but if you want to, you can, let's get this out. You can take these off. I think they're on pretty tight. Are they on little ball joints? Maybe you don't want to take them off. They're on little balls, because this is kind of a there we go. Okay, yeah, they are on little ball joints. Just grab them close to the base. I mean, like you would popping out any ball joint that has a very kind of thin frame arm looking thing here, because you don't want to break that little frame. I don't recall her having those. I may go back and look in my books and see if she did. If she did, then I'll put them back on. But I don't think so. And unfortunately, I don't think there's a place to stick any of these little accessory, these little things. I just opened up the whole thing. I didn't want to do that, but we're here, so let's just go ahead and get it over with. Okay, got those out. I think you can, however, kind of hang them back here. But it's, yeah, so they will hang back here in this mode. All of her little tools, things that she used to clean up the DJD with, but I don't know, man. Doing this, it's like, I mean, it's there, but it all falls off so easily, except for this one. It all falls off so easily, and they're really meant for robot mode, but I can't think of another place to really store them on her. But she looks really good. Like, she's very accurate. I always thought she was just like a little nuke, like a little mini nuke on wheels, but I guess she's some kind of all-terrain, all-purpose vehicle or some sort. So let's get her other little tools out, and I'm pretty sure, again, like, I don't think she had any of these little red fins in robot mode, so there is that. The face I may change to that super duper happy face, but she looks super adorable with just the smiling face anyways, so just keep that like it is, and we'll just put it off to the side, get all this other stuff off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and get these two into robot mode. It's fairly simple. If you own it, just read the instructions. You should be fine. I'm sure there's another review out there that has transformation, but waste of time over here. So let me get that done, get right back, and we'll finish this thing up. All right, so here we have them both in robot mode. And first, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at Nickel. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and say that this kind of fixed handle will not fit in the pet's hand. Unfortunately, I mean, that just kind of is what it is, at this point. The thing that bums me about that, and why they couldn't just have those fists kind of, open, even similar to K-On's maybe, because it looks like, him and K-On do have like the same sort of hand design. Yeah, it's not exactly the same, so anyone who's like looking dead at them is gonna be like, no, they're not. But even if it was just something, and I get they got to be kind of close-fisted for the beast mode to work and all that, but anyways, he was a sniper. That's essentially what I'm wanting to get into. He was the sniper. He was the Voss before the current Voss that we know, the Wear My Face Voss, and the reason he was turned into, the pet is he was kind of like lobotomized and tortured and forced into his alt mode, and they probably removed his transformation cog. I can't remember all the specific details, but essentially, like, that was his punishment for being a spy. You know what I mean? Which is, it's like some brutal stuff. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Nickel first, and then we'll get into the pet, because the pet is what really kind of like surprise interested me. But so here we have Nickel and all of her little little doodads, got her little tools hanging right here. Now you can kind of get her at least right here, and most of this stuff will stay on, so that is a plus. So if you're kind of, messing with her, she can get shaken around a little bit. Those little tools aren't coming off, so I do like those little hooks. Would have been cool if that could have been like back here. That's what these little pieces were for vehicle mode. I mean, I'm sure, if you wanted to store them that way, you could have. These little tire, like this one's kind of loose-ish. This one's a little more tight. I'm sure if I tighten that screw up, I can. So sometimes you got to kind of play with her little ankles to really get her to stand. But she hasn't really fallen over on me, so I can't fault her for that. One thing I will fault her for, though, is so these pieces right here. This whole thing is supposed to collapse upwards like that for the vehicle mode, and it's very tight. It is unreasonably tight. You got to make sure it's kind of at that kind of position, but even just pushing it down, man, I have not been able to get it to loosen up. There's really no need for this to have been so tight. Jesus, I can't even get it all the way back down. There I mean that's about as good as I can get out of it. I just lost one of her little tools. But I mean, she does retain this, but it's a very tight turn. So I think at this point is when it gets kind of loose, but it's this comes up so much that you're unable to to kind of get this full all the way back around. This side isn't as bad. I mean, it's still a pretty tight turn, but man, that just bums me out. I mean, I'm trying to twist and turn, but I really don't want to lose more tools. I really don't want to put any more stress on this little hinge right here than what I have to. And I'm trying to kind of grab it from the inside and maybe pull as I'm pushing, but it's just it's not. I don't know if it's just mine. It's an oddly specific tolerance for both sides for it to be that tight, but that's a bummer. It really shouldn't have been, because these arms, once they kind of collapse up and fold up, they peg into stuff to stay kind of locked in. But if you want to, you can kind of get her doing her little proud moment, hands on the hips, telling the DJD that they need to take better care of themselves. Sort of thing. So if you want that, you can get that. Just know that it's super tight, and I don't really recommend it. And these things right here, they don't really lock in. Yeah, I don't know. Just maybe wasn't the best design choice. Let's get all of our little doodads back on here. Let's hook that back on, and unintentionally, I haven't looked. I'm sure once I get done with this review, I'm going to kind of go in and make sure I get them all in the proper order. But I'm just kind of keeping hardware tools right here and power tools over here. So anyways, that's that. Her holding the sniper rifle because she did. Let's go ahead and get that in. I think we'll have to collapse that up, and let's just slot it into her hand like that. So, and what's cool is she can, this head can come back again, which is awesome. Just gonna let all that stuff fall off. So you can kind of sort of get her in that little prone position. Again, twisting all these freaking joints around. It's a pain. But since her head can look up like that, and there is actual like a camera scope on here, because she can't quite look down the sights properly at any other sniper transformers are kind of able to do. But you can sort of get that in her hand like that, and she can sit there. It's not the best sniping pose, but you can definitely kind of work with it. So that is pretty cool. And again, I don't think I brought Voss in for the comparison, but this one is the one that comes packaged with it, and it has all of the red accents that Voss does. So just something to sort of keep in mind. Now it essentially like makes Voss, like, I wouldn't say useless, but now you don't have to transform your Voss if you have one that hasn't, broken or whatever due to QC issues. But all right, let's twist this back around. These little panels open up, and the instructions say you need to open them up. As far as needing to open them up, I don't know about that. I like having them kind of there on the outside. Little communicators. Would have been neat if she came with a cell phone to like call somebody for help. But you know, it is what it is. Let me get all of our little things back on, and then I'll kind of wrap up with Nickel. Okay, final kind of thing here. You can really do whatever you want to do with this little backpack she has here. I've seen some pictures where they're kind of spread out like that. Like, that's how they are in vehicle mode. I do like that they have that option to kind of just collapse up like that on her back. I think that looks really cool. And overall, like, I think they did do a great job at just capturing the likeness of the character. You can kind of make her little, move her little ears around however you want. She's got kind of a tight fit in here for, you know, moving the head around and whatnot. But again, like, just to get that comic book accuracy, that is something I do appreciate. The only thing I really just have a genuine problem with Nickel here is these arms, man. These are kind of, sort of, for the most part, unacceptable. You know, I wish, you know, it's like, it just seems like it's just seizing up, like, ever more, and even twisting it, like, twisting it'll push it back in, but getting it to come down and out is just not working out the way it needs to. So that really does suck. I'm really not trying to break this thing. I guess it would give me another excuse to buy the 2-pack again. But anyways, maybe wait for some more reviews to pop out to see just how bad those arm tolerances are. But real quick, let's kind of get her in here with the DJD, at least the members that we do have. So here's Kaon that you can't see. Boop. There we go. Well, Tarn's going to be even taller, but, you know, whatever. And Voss, who doesn't have a chest plate that locks center, unfortunately. Alright. I didn't want to, like, turn his head, and then it kind of, like, snaps. So there's that. There's Kaon, who has broken. And we got Tarn. So I'm going to, again, go back and kind of look in the comics and see where she had her little Decepticon symbol at. If I had to guess, it would have been right here, and it probably would have been gray, or not gray, gold, like the others. So I'll go ahead and get her stickered up, you know, before I kind of put her on the shelf, whatever shelf I decide to stick her on. But, you know, she does look good with the rest of the team, and if we kind of want to swap out Voss members at this point, even though this one can't hold a sniper rifle. Granted, Nickel wouldn't have interacted with this, but, you know, we could kind of get some, like, you know, as far as we know, quote-unquote, first iteration, second iteration, or at least of the 2 iterations we know, once we get Helix and Tesserus, that'd look pretty sweet. So, anyways, there's that. And again, if you want to have any of the other DJD members holding sniper rifle mode Voss, you can do that as well. There was no other, like, handle for, like, maybe a combiner, because I know that the original Voss came with the handle for Feral Rex, even though, like, he never really interacted and did anything with Feral Rex. So you can, and, like, the only other person that I remember wielding Voss was Kaon. Tarn may have at some point as well, but you know, I mean, at least with these multiple snipers, you kind of get some display options, so that's kind of nice. But because Nickel can't really wield Voss in kind of like that traditional, you know, 2-handed way, you know, she's got all of her kibble kind of in the way of, you know, where she would need to do stuff. You know, her hands, her poor little arms are too short, and her little body's a little too wide. That, you know, she can't kind of like wrap this arm up around to kind of, you know, grab a hold of Voss. I mean, you could maybe possibly, like, mistransform some of this, like bring some of this. Well, yeah, even then, I mean, maybe you kind of unplug this to bring it around. She could probably, you knock some more of these little tools off. Put it back in her hand if you knock it out. Maybe, perhaps. Come on now. What are you doing? Well, yeah, so it still doesn't quite work as well, unfortunately. And, I mean, she doesn't even really hold him super well with that handled hand that she's got, specifically for her little hands. I mean, I think he's definitely meant to kind of be in the prone position with him, which again kind of sucks. I'm definitely trying. Like, I'm definitely probably still going to try to play around with it some more, see what I can get out of it, but it just keeps falling out of her hands. So there is that. If you want to, again, you can have 2 normal handles, for both of these guns. If you ordered through Planet Steel Express, if you were just kind of getting the one gun, ordering through someone else, then it would be a no-brainer to give the sniper rifle to Kaon, just because it definitely fits better in his hand. Kaon or Tarn. I know they kind of showed it off with Tarn, but anyways, so that's that. I mean, that's kind of it. Like, as far as final thoughts for Nickel, and even the sniper accessory, which is more or less for her. You better hope you have some other characters. I mean, I think the Tyrantron, if you do the Tyrantron, the IDW Megatron with the minor look, you could probably have him hold the other one. So you got options. It's cool that it's an extra accessory. I just don't know if I need 2 of them. So we'll see. All right, now let's finally get on to the pet. All right, so here we are with the pet. Now, what's really cool about this is, again, it's kind of their first sort of beast former, and we know that they're looking at doing Ravage as the repaint retool. I would hope that's not a con exclusive. I got a feeling it might be, but like something I do kind of want to take a look at here, and maybe that's a reason why like that this is like a not remolded piece, but all right, may have to try to make something work. I haven't tested it out yet, on camera or off camera, but I may have to do a pause. All right, there we go. I had to kind of mistransform him a bit to get his head to sort of turn around to where this sort of fills in all of this like a neck piece. Like, I don't know like how much they would want to even retool some of this, or if, to kind of even bring his head a little bit closer down, to where it just sort of all fills in a little bit better. But I feel like the Ravage is definitely going to be a double homage to Beast Wars Ravage. I feel like it would be smart at the very least if even the robot head portion was kind of that cat face, and maybe they just did away with this altogether. I mean, maybe they could get it to work. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to, I guess. But anyways, there's that. Let's plug that back in. Spin this all around. And get back to that. So that's kind of mine. Like, even down to these little pieces right here. Like, I don't think these are supposed to like be part of a Turbo Fox, but I mean, these definitely look like the G1 Ravage kind of hip missiles, and they come off easy enough. So they're replaceable, and you can sort of just do whatever you want to with them. If you want to have them kind of positioned downwards like that, I like them just kind of sitting up on his hips. If you want to, again, move them to the back, you can kind of do whatever you want to with his kibble, because we really didn't see this character a whole lot. All right, I want to make sure I had that collapsed all the way. I think we got maybe a panel of him in robot mode. So there's that, and then again, like, I think the instructions have these just hanging down, and I just don't like the way that looks. Like, even from these other sort of like side profiles, again, I think like they kind of had these tail pits kind of like flaring off to the side. Again, I like them just sort of up, kind of like maybe like hanging off, kind of like coattails. I think that looks really cool. I think it kind of fits the character with the little mustached kind of House of Ambus look, if I may. So I think that is pretty cool. I don't know. Again, I gotta see. In theory, like both of these heads, the regular chest head and the damaged one, would have sported Decepticon symbols. Just kind of because like that was the, he was like a Decepticon agent of sorts. I want to make sure I got this all done right. But pretty cool. He's pretty posable. And overall, I just really like this design. It's nice to have another beast former, even though it's fairly robotic and all that, and he doesn't have the weapon. My main gripe is that he does not have, he doesn't have the ability to hold the sniper rifle. Other than that, I think this is definitely the stronger part of this set. Again, that's just kind of a bit of my bias. That said, I bought the set for both of them, and I want to buy another set again for both of them to do, some kind of different things. Overall, I wouldn't really put Dominus with, even the More Than Meets the Eye crew. I didn't even bust out my rewind to show off with them. Wouldn't have put him with that. I don't really know what else I would have put him with other than maybe just find a place on my Beast Wars display to stick him there. But he has no weapons, and again, like, I'm probably running that into the ground. But overall, it's a pretty cool set. I definitely do like this as a 2-pack. This makes a lot more sense. While we're kind of on that subject briefly, I've been pretty relentless about them with the Guzzle and Gears. And it is definitely with a heavy heart, because I really want that Guzzle, but that Gears is just plain stupid. This is how you do a 2-pack, and I think it was successful because of that. It's 2 different molds. They go well together. If you were going to do Guzzle, do realistically a Rotor Storm, and then repaint those into some nonsense bullcrap that, the quote-unquote G1 crowd, which is who MMC thinks they're selling to, when despite everything, they're selling to the comic book crowd. Give them some of those to buy. So that said, unless I find a Guzzle decently priced by itself on eBay or the like, you definitely won't be seeing you won't be seeing a review of that set out of me. I'm just not going to support it, and I hope that we have to, not have to, but I hope we do end up finding that set on clearance. And I hope that it does kind of show Mastermind Creations, like, don't package bullshit with cool stuff. So there is that. And let's get K on in here one last time, just because he did have an affinity for Dominus, or the pet, or former Voss, or whatever you want to call him. So definitely a cool set. I definitely do recommend picking it up, but that's the only 2-pack that I recommend picking up. So if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment box. I know it's a longer video than normal. There was a lot to kind of go over and explain and talk about, so I hope you guys do dig this kind of stuff. Again, I don't do third-party or anything like that too terribly often, but, yeah. So anyways, leave a like if you like it. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the little notification bell, I guess. And go check out the Stasis Lock Facebook page. Give it a like. And Primal Sabbath Facebook page. Give it a like. I mostly just share Stasis Lock stuff over there. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And I'll see you later.